Order the our general parking advisory committee meeting.
And Lindsay was sworn in or whatever, I need to add her.
You know, she was approved last.
Approved, so like she's been official in the minutes now.
Yeah. Is she still online?
No, she had to run.
Oh, okay.
No other attendees.
Okay. So should we do, let's go around the table just so that we have it for the minutes. I'm Seth Brandenberger. I'm the committee chair and the Business Improvement District rep.
I'm Christopher Facundo, public member, vice chair.
I'm Joan Taylor and I'm the residential parking permit holder representative.
I'm Sandy Shaw, I'm business rep at this point.
David Knopke, transportation systems director.
And Christopher will join us.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any announcements? Any housekeeping items?
Anybody need independent?
I have one. Okay, and I did read the, has everybody had a chance to read the meeting minutes from the last meeting?
Send them out days ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any comments on the meeting minutes?
I do.
Okay.
It's very small, but
That's fine, like small.
Cindy Burgess is actually Sid or Sid.
Oh, okay.
So
It says SYD.
I guess.
EU. Michael Burgess, right?
I think you got Burgess right. It was just
Sid.
her name is Sydney
I'll correct that.
or Sid. And she goes by. And it's right in the attendance and then public comment.
Thank you for reading them.
Okay.
Still move to seconds.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes with the respelling of Sydney Burgess's name?
A second.
I move.
Sandy moves.
I said,
Joan moves, Chris
Yeah.
seconds.
Joan moves. Chris seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the February 12th minutes?
aye.
Fine.
Aye. Okay, I think we're excited. Okay, is there any public comment on matters not on the agenda? Public here. Is there any board member comment on matters not on the agenda?
Just chair, we didn't get to the parking code revisions in the work session, so we'll be sending those out for your review. Just a quick note, when you read through there, there'll be a lot of strikeouts.
Okay,
Majority of those strikeouts were things that the city attorney's office and staff felt shouldn't be part of city code, but they should be a standard operating procedure. Because if you had to change something, you had to go change city code instead of just changing the procedure. So we moved those, a lot of those from city code into a standard operating procedure manual. Some of them just went away because they're no longer a thing, or, you know, we don't have the equipment or whatever, but the majority of them went into a standard operating procedure manual. And then as we go through over the coming months, we'll bring pieces and parts of that to you guys that need to be refined as we move forward. So
okay, so you're gonna email those to us? Or?
Yes.
If we have more time, were you prepared to give them to us today? We didn't do a work session.
we were gonna just go through some of the major points
I missed what this is, the map.
The parking, city parking card.
If we ended with more time on this meeting, can we add that?
It wasn't on the agenda.
Okay,
That's fine. I thought you
Just
showed up at there.
so.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna talk about,
Sorry.
is there anything to talk about with the parking map update?
Other than what we told you, the chamber's gonna be doing
The
this.
chamber's gonna be doing, and they're just doing some graphics, right? They're not,
They're gonna revise the maps and print the maps.
Question, who did the map last time? Was it the chamber as well?
Downtown,
It was downtown?
Yeah, it was one of the graphics
Oh, okay.
places.
we just had issues with the graphics not having, we don't have the original.
No.
So,
so I have a question regarding, they're gonna print like.
They're not gonna print thousands, they're gonna print enough to basically
Distribute?
distribute to them, at the desk there. But the ideally is to have a good digital version on somewhere, located online so that people can reference it.
And share
Okay.
it?
print on demand, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Cause we still have like boxes of the old maps.
Exactly,
Maps
that's
there.
how it goes out for sure.
Okay. All right. Residential district letters update.
So we sent out the letters, nobody responded. So the resolution will be going to the commission April 15th, I believe, for their consideration to terminate those districts. So, yeah,
April 18th,
15th.
15th.
That was a serious answer, it wasn't a smart ass answer.
Just a,
If you could do the Julia, are we recording?
Yes, we are.
on a non-related subject, but when would you be presenting the budget to the commission?
Great question. I believe sometime in April.
Okay.
So
So
very
also is the 15th, is that that's a commission?
That's an
meeting?
admin meeting.
Admin meeting, okay. And maybe that's coming right up.
Could be that meeting. I have not gotten the schedule for the commission meeting.
Okay. All right.
We're presenting our budget to the city manager tomorrow. So, this works out well. For feedback.
So will you include I guess you'll tell us in a few minutes, but will you be including the rate increase in that?
Yes.
To the cities.
It's already in the thing, you just wanted to hit enter.
Well, through our budget discussion here.
Yeah.
Part of our budget discussion is rates.
Yeah, no,
So-
I know.
The recommendation from this committee to raise those, then we could go and adjust those rates. Prior to our meeting with the manager and show her what that rate increase would look like. in the park.
Which one is it? One of those just parking and transit only. I didn't break out the parking only one. So, it's one of those that says budget notes.
It starts, let's all start. I don't know.
No. Okay, so what I did was went through the budget after it was put together. And I put together kind of an outline of notes, so. We took sort of a two-pronged approach to the budget this year. I say we, I mean me. So we had the general process that we were given was, get your budget in, no major changes, right? So I did that, but then I also worked with our budget office and we came up with a tool that I could put in proposed budget. So that I could see what can we do if we get a rate increase, if we need to increase capital, that kind of stuff. So my notes have notes on the two versions. So department entry is the one that's like, this is my budget that hasn't really changed anything. And proposed entry is I want a rate increase and it's going to support these activities. So on the revenue side of things, our department entry version, it's overall got just under a 2% increase, and really all it is adjustments to ticket and investment income based on current trends. So whatever we were at, halfway / 7 months through the year, I took that trend and I just forecasted it out for the next year. So we were up just a little bit on the ticket side. And then that phone service charges, that is what the $20,000 I was talking about in the work session that we get from managing the front desk. And then on the proposed side of things for revenue, so it turns into an 8.4% increase over our standard budget. And that would be with a $5 per month increase on permits. And right now, the way I have the numbers in there, it's just going to $1.25 an hour per month. So on the expense side, our regular budget, as you can see, overall across the board on expenses, basically flat, 0.1% difference. So we have a few different things. So we break our budget down into these different categories of operating, what they call other, those are like administrative costs, and then cap. So in our operating budget, which is majoritively our personnel and contract service, buying supplies, materials to do maintenance work with, that kind of stuff. 2% overall, that includes whatever finance budgeted for our COLA and health insurance increases, estimates, all that kind of stuff that goes on the personnel side of it. So just under 2% total is where that came in. The other side of things, 7.5% decrease overall in the administrative section. So you can see 85,000 of that was the debt service from Jackson that came off. And then internal charges, those are those things that we pay like HR, finance, the commission, those types of organizations that we pay for. Those went up almost 11. And then there's a thing in here, a liability deductible. It's never been a budgeted item in the past, but for some reason finance has $6,000 in there this year. So I noted that. It's something that I'll find out tomorrow why it's budgeted. It's not budgeted in all of our divisions. There was only in a couple of them. So I'll find out tomorrow why that was. And then capital here. So you can see 82% increase on capital versus what we budgeted last year. And again, I just called out the fact that there's the 10 million plus in deferred maintenance out there. Right now, it's $100,000 budget versus the 55 total that we put in this year. What we're proposing is really not much difference. There was one line item for our water utility bills that for some reason this year water bills were really high. We looked into it. We think they just overwatered all summer long, and that's why we're
What water bill? Landscaping,
yeah,
and not the walking hall.
not the walking. So
We don't
this
do
was
I know.
this was the
That's
garage.
weird. Oh.
Yeah, these were the
I
garages.
guess I've never seen water
Yeah.
moving down.
Well,
those areas.
well, that was our point. I thought it was a mistake. I worked with our utility billing people and got, readings and stuff for like the last 3 years on every garage.
Got it.
So,
Go back up to deferred maintenance. Just so, okay, so the deferred maintenance, is that just the structures? The structures
That's
is
everything.
7 million.
That's everything across park.
Okay, so that's out the 10 year.
That's a lot, the kiosks,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But in reality, most of that money is,
is structures.
and most of that structures money is, most of the money spent over 10 years is spent in the first 3 years and we're already past 2 years into it. So,
Correct.
yes.
And so I just gave some top line conclusions at the end of this. So at our department entry version of our budget, we're a $68,000 deficit, leaves us with $362,000 in cash reserves. We have a reserve requirement of 194 almost thousand, which is based on our budget policies. Takes our operating budget, and we have to have, because parking gets money on a daily basis, the budget policy says that we have to have 60 days of operating in your operating expense in reserve at all times. So that's what the $194,000 equates to. So we're meeting the reserve requirement of the budget policy in that version of the budget. In the proposed version where we have the rate increases, you can see we're $102,000 revenue over expenses. Leaves us with 533 almost in the bank. Meets our reserve requirement of roughly the same amount. And then you can see I made a note of additional funds could be added to capital to address the deferred maintenance. And or be used toward match for a TIF grant, that kind of thing. So that's the highlight of building the budget.
So the big takeaway on this is we do have some extra reserves that we could potentially activate for capital projects. But again, we don't want to spend them down to nothing because, or down to our required reserve.
No, but
And
you could also apply for grant with that money.
yes. Yeah. The like the proposed, the 532 minus the 193, whatever that is, we could use that difference to apply to a grant.
So then, do you want to pull up the one that's called that one says proposed column included, one down right there. And then go to the template tab because I don't think we're on parking. Oh, you might have to enable. But it works. Yep. Okay, and then go back to the proposed testing. Yeah, look, I'm still there. Okay, so this is the numbers side of it, right? This is our overall cash flow for the parking fund. And so you can see we have a few years of history on the left side there, 23, 24, 25. Those were what we actually spent in those years. And then are you sharing the ones at the top?
I'm getting there as I make it bigger.
Okay. So again, so a little bit of historicals off to the left side. Column Y there is what we adopted last year. That's really what we're comparing everything to. Column A, B, where it says preliminary, that's my department entry version of the budget. That was our don't change anything major. And then column AD is the proposed version. That's the one that I put rate increases, increased capital, that kind of stuff. So again, this is really just showing you the numbers that make up those notes that I gave. But so total revenue that we adopted last year was 1.9, almost $2 million in column Y. And then currently what we're looking at is 2,016,000. So that's the 1.8% increase. And then what we're proposing to go to, so that is the going to $1.25 an hour and doing a $5 per month increase on permits. And so you can see it roughly, it worked out to be about $130,000 on the permit side for that $5 a month increase. And I put it at 40. Like I said, more realistically, it's 50, but our budgeting practices, go low on revenue, high on expense, and hope for the best. So what I have in there right now would be $40,000 for that quarter. So it gets us to 2,186,000. And then moving down the line on the expense stuff, so you can see our personnel in 26, what we adopted, just under 650,000. What's in there for the current version and the proposed version, 673. So that is all attributed to a small COLA, a cost of living adjustment, and I think it was a 5% increase on the health insurance is what they put in as an estimate. But that's all the changes that are in our personnel budget. We didn't ask for any promotions, any new people, anything like that. We're not changing anything about the current personnel. And then what makes up the rest of our operating budget, you can see supplies and materials, purchase services, fixed charges. That's, rent that we pay here to this building. That's the assessment that we pay to the Great Northern. So again, you can see kind of overall, if you look at column AC, I have to highlight it, but that's our percent change on each one of those categories. So supplies and materials, we went down almost 1%, down a little bit on purchase. So no real change on the other one. So that's where that 2%, if you mix that with the personnel, that's where it all played into on the moves. And then you can see the only thing I changed in my proposed version from what that is I dropped that water utility back because we identified what the problem was and we're going to handle it operationally. So I didn't need to increase that line. Moving down into our other category, these are all those administrative costs that I was talking about. That's our internal charges, right? Our HR, finance, that kind of stuff. Intra-city charges, that's what we pay to fleet for their services. That's also our fuel budget, repairs if we need any, which hopefully we really shouldn't need any with the new car. I know at least one of our maintenance vehicles is relatively new. One of them is scheduled to get replaced next year, not 27, the 28 budget. And then you can see capital's kind of lumped in there too. And so overall, when you look at it, the biggest change in here is the internal charge line goes up 11%, right? We don't have any control over that. Those numbers are just given to us. And then the debt service line goes down 13%. So that's where the payment from Jackson came out. So unfortunately, some of that got eaten up by our internal charges, our administrative costs. And then capital, you can see I took from 55 to 100,000. And that was really just a starting point. That's one of those things we can talk about in this process on, what do we want that number to look like? But then ultimately, you put all that together, it gets us down to the bottom part where you can see total expenditures, right? 2,082,900 versus 2,084,800 versus 2,083. So really across the board, not changing anything from what we budgeted last year in total. We moved some things around, we adjusted some numbers, but at the end of the day, we're only spending the same amount of money we had budgeted this year. And so the difference comes in down below. You see that's our revenue over or under expenditures. So the way that everything is entered into our system right now, that's the $68,000 deficit, which leaves us with the $361,000. And then what we're proposing to go to with the rate increases gives us the $102,000 cash flow, leaves us with $532,000. And so we could adjust it to put that $100,000 back into the expense side of the budget somewhere. And we would come out with still a balanced budget, right? But we can find where to put that 100, which I think the most obvious place to put it is capital, right? And I think that's part of our discussion. So I'll kind of stop there and see if you guys have any questions on all of that. And if we need to get into more detail about, what did we really change in some of these lines, we can. But
So if you were to add another quarter, it would be then basically 5,082 on the bottom there. If you were to add, if we added another rate.
Be 100 and, yeah, I mean, so like I said, on the safe side, the quarter,
Yeah,
mathematically, the quarter says it's
right,
50,000.
but it would just go, we just basically are adding 50,000 to that green where the, his cursor is right now,
Yeah,
so when.
so to the green, but more importantly, to the orangey one. So we would go from having $102,000 that we could put into capital as additional match or projects or whatever it could be. Yeah, that would be, yeah, closer to 150,000 you could put in. So like I said, right now, so that 100,000 in capital, that's what we have in the budget at the moment for projects, right? For us to address all of the deferred maintenance that we want to try and address, whether that be through a TIF or a grant or just doing the work ourselves. That's how much money's on the table in the budget right now, proposed in the budget. So, I mean, you can see with,
More of a placeholder until we had this discussion with the
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah. So how long has your administrative been gone? What does that add in? So that's.
so the admin position that we have has only been vacant for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, listen.
Yeah, it's
And
not,
then get someone in a couple weeks.
and that's what we know we have some applicants in there. I think they're starting the interview process soon, so it won't amount to a lot of savings.
Biggest one is our PCO, cause that one's been a little bit of a revolving door, so that one's gonna have to see a little bit more personal savings in that admin position.
But you will add the additional 25 cents or 40 to 50,000 before you present it to the city manager.
Well, so that's the proposed column, so that is already in my revenue estimate. So
Only 1/4, right?
only 1/4, yeah.
Yeah.
So if, I mean, yeah, if you guys want me to go to $1.50, if that's the recommendation from the committee. I don't think we'll argue against it.
No, we'll agree and.
Do we have to
show it
vote on
and
it
present,
at some point?
Yeah.
Should.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we would be looking for in this process, with this as a regular item on the agenda. We would be looking for you all to. Yeah, I mean, make a motion to either support it as is or recommend we change something. And approve whatever that recommendation is as the committee for us to be able to incorporate.
And that way, when we talk to the manager and the finance officer, we can say. The parking committee voted on this, this is their recommendation to the commission.
Or. I think, I guess we'll just open this for discussion. It's not gonna be popular downtown. But
With the survey results back and stuff,
Yeah.
they're saying. You guys, you can get too much is $2 an hour and $1.50, $2. It was a big percentage,
I think
saying they
that's,
wouldn't care.
I think that's a very good point.
And we asked people and they said, I don't know if you saw in the survey that. It asked about rate increases and something like, what, 60 or 70% of the people said. If we went to $1.50 to $2, we wouldn't care. And so we all thought there'd be pushback on that.
Well, and I also think our whole discussion for the last 2 hours was that we need to do something to increase the budget so that we can take care of that issues with the garages and the surface lots before they deteriorate to the point where we won't be able to fix them and they'll tear them up and cost much, much more. So that's why our recommendation for 50 cents instead.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay, that discussion.
Yeah, I think that the discussion in our working session was about when you look at the deferred maintenance. It's, the consultant put together a maintenance budget for the next 10 years, but when you look at it, like 60–70% of the expenditures are in the first 3 years to stop the deterioration of the structures. Well, what's happened is
we haven't done anything for the first 2 years, we're headed into the third year. So we basically are not addressing the issues, at which point maintenance gets a lot more expensive in a hurry. And so even $1.50 is gonna raise 100,000, because that doesn't even cover the immediate concerns that they've raised. So unless there's another source of money, and we're talking about ways to leverage this money with TIF grant any way we can. But we're parking is headed for a real nightmare in that it could very rapidly deteriorate to a point where you're gonna have to start closing facilities.
They close themselves so they won't be safe.
Right.
That goes like the Sixth Avenue garage was built in 1979.
Well, Jackson looks worse shape than Six does. I don't know, I mean, just looking at it from,
I think that's poor craftsmanship.
okay. Just really scary.
Looks nice though. Yeah.
From the outside.
Inside it was like, it was scary inside. Just the way it.
Anyway, that's why we're,
So I get my question, so the tip, that's still a possibility, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They have a matching part,
Oh,
so the question is, if you match them at 35,000, or do you say, hey, we got 100,000,
would they match?
and only match 100,000? So we're thinking,
Would, does the city have a general fund that? I'm sure that was asked, there's.
So it does have a general.
Okay,
but not for.
But it doesn't. The users of parking pay for the parking,
and that's absolute, there's no.
especially this year.
Now, there's plenty of wiggle room, Christopher. If you wanna make that argument, I'll sit right next to you. But as of right now, there is no precedent for the general fund to contribute to parking.
should that be one of our strategies?
That's what I wonder. Cause.
I mean, I think we can make the argument that that parking at its current,
Yeah,
where we're headed currently, there's a problem. Now, I don't know how you solve that, if you get a bond, or I don't know how you solve that issue.
So we've had this discussion for sidewalks. Well,
Let's say sidewalk seems like.
so, grants are always hit and miss. You can't rely on grants year after year, so you need something that's steady funding. You could talk general fund. I highly doubt that that's gonna be, but one of the options that they're even talking about for transit is a transit district. Now, same with the parking district. Would that be popular? Would that pass? That would have
What's
to
the
go.
transit district?
So a district is just that, it's, you identify your district and those people inside that district pay for a percentage of their taxes go towards that district.
Okay.
I don't see that being very popular.
I don't either, but I'm just saying there's other funding options. It's
Yeah.
just that it's
You have to have a
difficult.
card coming across the street. I live in
So
the
doesn't
zone.
the BI, how did they get their money? They're
Oh,
a
okay.
district, right? And
Here's
those
how,
around the
here's how the
business
BID
pay?
works. The BID is voted on every 10 years by property owners.
Right,
The property owners pay an assessment. That's in addition to their taxes. It's additional taxes
Mhm.
that supports the BID. And for big property owners, it's pretty expensive. What happened the last time the BID was voted on was that it didn't pass until the city stepped in as a property owner and voted for it.
Why have you done that?
Yeah. So
That's popular.
it's coming back up
Mhm.
in, I think, 2029, which is not that far away.
Because it was my first year here that they reestablished it.
So we'll see how that goes, but the BID, you know, they do the garbage cans, the flowers, the banners, the, you know, just whatever stuff. But it's,
I do have a quick question.
they have a
So,
board.
the deficit that we're facing, or the 10 million, if, you know, if we're trying to stave off, you said how much was the percent in 3 years we're trying to cover? Or what's the dollar amount?
I haven't figured it out,
Okay.
but it's significant. I mean,
Yeah.
what I did, I printed out the cost for every structure. About 6 structures. And if you just look at one of these, you can see what they've identified, but really the bulk of the expenses happen. Were supposed to happen in 25, you know, in the last 25, 26, 27.
Yeah.
And the problem is, if you don't do things like seal the concrete,
That's how they
maintain
train by.
then the deterioration accelerates.
So translators, they have
Right.
translators.
So that's what's
What
happening.
is the
Trans-
dollar amount we're looking at to
Yeah.
try to cover?
That explains
in
why.
that, you said that of that 10 million in that 3 years,
So you see where.
what is that amount that we want to try to?
Well, we're already at 3 years, because we've gone through 2 fiscal years and we're headed into the next one. So, I mean, you're probably still talking about, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 or $7 million in the hole
No.
where we
So-
are now. But it's a matter of prioritizing with the money you have, and
Yeah.
any money is better than no money.
Right, so I guess what I'm trying to think here, and, you know, if I'm hearing it right, you know, we can't get money anywhere else, it's just on users, so. I'm just curious to know if we were trying to come up with that 5 or 7 million in how many years? What would that rate increase look like? Are we talking like $5 an hour, $10 an hour? I mean.
Yeah.
And we're
let's
that
get
all, but yeah,
serious here, because
because they're getting excited, they're like.
if that's what it comes down to scare people, well, what the heck are we gonna do? I
Well,
mean, just nickel and diming us isn't gonna, if it's not gonna fix anything, then why are we even sitting here?
You know,
I
I think,
guess.
yeah, I think what's gonna
Yeah, I
happen.
mean, frustration a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point though, to say,
I
you
mean,
know, if we need to fix this in 2 years,
we need $5 an hour.
maybe $5 an hour.
But it's also raising permits, raising everything.
Right.
I mean, yeah, in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah, the permits would have to
I
go.
mean, everything would go up, but
That's right, so,
You know, what? I think it's pretty easy to justify $1.50 an hour when you're talking about,
it was just a talking point.
it's just a talking point,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like, you know, we really want to get out of our deferred maintenance really quickly.
this is what's.
It would-
gonna look
it
like.
But I think at one point you had told me how much we were losing on each hourly spot and each permit spot, how much it costs to maintain versus how much income it brings in, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could. I don't have those numbers now, but. There was a significant gap
Yeah,
between what it actually costs per space, what we're charging.
yeah. Cause I can imagine somebody would say, well, why are you charging the hourly people for the lots? Well, there's hourly lots also, but.
So I think like, the parking garages. When we figured that out. In order to make up that subsidy that we're using. Every year to. Keep up with the loan payment. Wasn't the parking $110, $120 a month?
Yeah, so in order for us, for 15th Street Garage. For us to actually generate. The amount of revenue just off of that garage. To actually pay the debt service only for that garage. Yeah, we would have to be at $110 to $120 a month on the permits. Which would extend to all permit garage
Yeah, they want
permits,
it,
right?
yeah.
All garage permits would have to be that price in order for us to generate the revenue just because of that one garage. And right now,
And
we're
that's the kind of the discussion that. The rates fell behind. I don't know if they were correct at the beginning, we never really looked at that, probably not. But they didn't increase the rates enough over the years so that that parking wasn't continually spending that $170,000 to cover the loan that the actual state fund was supposed to cover.
I think this is just my personal / professional, but not in my capacity as a city person, as a finance person in general. What I noticed is that there was a memorandum that came out about the 15th Street garage early on. And then that memo got drafted into the final agreement. But the language that didn't make it from the memo to the agreement was the fact that the rate that we had to charge them had to be enough to cover the debt service plus the maintenance. So that actual requirement didn't make the agreement. It just said, you're going to charge us whatever you charge every other garage. And I think the reason that that language didn't make the agreement is because they knew that at the time the rates did not support the amount of money that they needed to make that agreement work. So they left that piece of the language out of the agreement and said, yes, we can only charge you the same rate as every other garage, but we know that we can't go to the rate that we need to go to meet that requirement. So they left that requirement out of here.
It's not a huge debt.
Yes.
Yeah, when's that? That's got like.
That's like saying I bought a new car. I
They're
have a
not-
down payment.
Yeah, it's out there.
So we're not, it's gonna outlast us. Okay, so
We'll be,
the other thing I.
we're stealing it a couple times.
But before the meetings today, I was talking to Dave, and that's when we figured out that I didn't realize there was a $53,000 annual HOA fee on Ketchel, which is just money gone.
And we don't, is there any, we go
No
on that,
recourse on that.
get rid of that?
Talk to Ned Nicholson. See,
Well, it's worth a shot.
HOA fee, because you,
because we're part of the HOA, we're inside the HOA.
I couldn't tell you.
Are you in the HOA?
no.
No, it's just the Great Northern
Great Northern.
is an HOA.
So we're paying him.
That is really,
53 to have a parking garage.
And we've done that for 20 years.
Since the garage was built.
And the deal is supposed to do it forever.
Yep.
I wonder if it's worth going to Alan, and having a conversation, not that, what the hell, it's worth getting at you, her to ask.
You would probably be the best person.
I'm not Alan. I'm serious, I mean, it's like, Alan, we're all putting, you've gotten plenty of money off of it. And he does good things for the town, I'm not saying that, he was, and that was one of those silly, the rules were, he couldn't build down there till he had a garage, he couldn't get a garage till he built something. And, so, one of the garages down there, when snow was even down, there was even dumber. When you had a parking garage, no buildings around it.
what's weird, there's that one and then the additional. I mean, there's Getchell, there's 2 garages.
Yeah, 15th.
Yeah.
Well, 15th was built to keep the state fund downtown.
Well, then who knew that everyone would go remote too, that also just changed the game. Is SoFi still down there?
Yeah.
So you don't
And
pay
that's
a HOA on the Getchell garage,
We pay it on the
Yeah.
Getchell garage.
but not the 15.
Not the,
Uh,
it's not in the Great Northern.
So who's gonna be my buddy? There's gotta be someone in this room to have a conversation with about talking to Alan.
I think you should take Joan.
Well, I mean, I think Julia. I don't know. It doesn't have to be this committee, I'm just thinking that politically, I mean, I have a conversation with somebody, besides me just talking to Alan, I need some backup, like. Who else is, I don't know,
You take the city manager, I'm sure she'd go with you.
Good idea.
I mean, is that just, what the heck, what?
Well, right now, the answer is no. Without asking, the answer is no.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
So going down there and maybe, you as a business owner and this new city manager introducing, might sway them.
well, even if it just cut in half, I mean, or just he did, or. We're trying to, keep things going, and he knows how that is, he's been in that thing.
Well, I've heard he's raising rents, you know, rents on everybody down there, cause they're not.
The biggest problem that I have with it is the fact that you still, since the theater opened, we've been giving 4 hours free parking away for the theater. So not only is the theater and the Great Northern benefiting from those 4 hours free parking. There's also the $53,000 that we're paying them in HOA. To me, it should have been a wash and say, okay, for the 53,000, give us this 4 hour free parking for, moviegoers. And
What question?
you can always arm your quarterback.
What is the value benefit for that 15? What do they do?
Doesn't matter.
Do they maintain the garage? Do they do landscaping? It's just a tax.
It's just, so according to them, I think what you would hear is, yes, they do landscaping in the common areas of the Great Northern. And they do garbage collection.
And they're supposed to drive their security through.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was noticing that, Dave, what's the resident there? What do they pay for those parking spots? In the, up in the Getchell garage, there's 2 spots that say residence parking only.
Yes. So there's 2 spots up there. There was supposedly some deal, but nobody can find the documentation of
For
that.
those condos
Yeah.
that park there.
Are they, does someone live in there?
I haven't seen anybody parking there for a long time.
I'm surprised it turned the corner like residents only, like.
I'm assuming they're probably parking in the garage, buying a permit parking in the garage. I'd rather be undercover than.
Which condos?
So right in front of,
Above.
on the 14th Street side of the garage, there's 2 condos above that.
Used to be real
It's
estate.
an Almond Brothers,
Almond Brothers.
building.
There it is.
and then,
If you're going the garage down, turn
they
right out,
built
go
2
down.
condos on top of it.
So if you get up to the top of the parking garage, it says residents only, and like, there's like not a car near them.
Oh, yeah.
But you're like, who's coming out that, yeah, they're probably coming in another door too.
Well,
Well, the way they screed, you know, they have races through that garage, I don't know. Park my car in there.
Well, tell Dennis to stop running around that way. You take your car keys away. Okay. Okay,
All
so,
right,
okay,
so-
so I'm game.
All right, so here's the.
Do you think the city manager really is at that point that,
We need a motion.
We've sat down and had conversations with 15th Street with State Fund.
I mean, I think it's time to, I think it's, you have to look same thing to them, it's like, let's help. Renegotiate.
Well, I would bet. They would say. Yeah, we want to talk about it, but we want to reduce the number of permits because half our employees are working remotely anyway.
I always have to see how that affects us. Is that a positive thing or is that a negative?
It's very negative. There's nobody to backfill those.
Well, what about people in Calisac and Crowley and all those people in Bagel Company and what are those developer places? Stockman's Bank.
I
They
think
have their
they're
own
parking
parking
wherever.
lot.
Well, there's,
They have
They're
their
getting
own parking,
tickets.
they have their own parking lots. in back.
Some do, yeah,
but the other thing is there's free street parking all the town.
yeah.
Okay, so do we
Okay.
need to make a motion to
Yeah.
increase the,
Wait a minute, before we do that, yeah.
Okay,
So we also have a question about one of the proposed. Permits, where there was a discussion whether it was all of us. Since some members, that one.
So on street monthly. And then the 4 hour on street permit. I mean,
That conversation went back to the part where we had just established those, sort of 4 hour discounting rate that sort of already existed in the past.
So what makes sense?
So
65?
you guys didn't want to increase them to really 32, or I think Sandy, I think it was mostly you.
Yeah,
I think it was Julie, too.
But didn't want to go up on those right off the bat. And by association, the on-street permits as well, you wanted to leave those where they were to see how it went. And honestly, at this point, we've been seeing how it's going and we're not. I mean, nobody's coming to get them.
So we might as well raise it.
I mean, it's just $2. So
I'm just thinking about when you go to sell it, I'm thinking about your guy, people at the window. Oh, you want a permit? Do you want on-street lot? And if it's more, it's consistent. Where they're not debating, well, okay, if I do 30 versus 32, or, you know, if it matches the other.
Well, it still goes up.
Yeah, it still goes up. I'm just trying to, what's the easiest thing to sell? 32
Well, if
bucks?
it is what it is. You know, they're not gonna know that it was 30. Before, maybe. You see what I said?
Yeah, I mean, so I think we just leave it at 32, is that what we're saying, or we think it's 35?
So
Okay, so
I
we
think.
go from
let's just-
60 to 65, 30 to 32. Where's the rest?
I'm just looking at what matches though, as you're, you know, it's not necessarily. What do we did from current to proposed, but does our proposed, like, how many, at $1.50, how many hours would have to be downtown to justify buying a permit? For a 4-hour parking lot? 4-hour parking permit.
Well, right now, let's get you 8 hours of parking. For a month. That's how much you would, to break even, you would have to pay on-street regular rates, basically. Well, sorry, 32 hours.
20. So you'd have to spend 20 hours paying hourly to park. To equate to the 4-hour, $32 permit, basically $32 permit. So that's 4 hours a day. Or less.
So it's kind of a lot, no. 4 hours a day,
4 hours a day, 5 days a week would be 20 hours a week. And that would
Cover your monthly permit cost.
yeah, I got myself confused, so are you saying that it's a
So
wash?
if you work 4 hours a day for a week,
It would be better for you just to buy the permit and not have to pay every single day before, you know.
And do I save money? I got myself confused here, so,
let's just go back to the dollar currently.
yeah,
So $1 buy gets you at our currently, if they were just parking on the street, gets you 30 hours a month parking.
okay,
Which most of them are working probably maybe half that or 20 hours a week.
so they basically break even, they save 2 weeks of money, right? Is that kind of what, am I hearing that? Half their money?
So, let me make that.
If they're down there all day.
No,
No, not if they're
Are
down
Are we
there,
talking about
they're
the all
down
day
there.
or the 4 hours?
Should be the same, but
Yes. So
I'm
if
just trying to
you-
say, as a selling point, okay, if you find yourself down here less than 5 hours a week for a month, you should do the on-pipe, you know, pay as you go.
Mhm.
If you find yourself down here at 15 hours a week, you know, by week 2.5, you've already paid your permit and the rest basically is free.
Not week 2.5, it's
week
a
2.
month.
Right, I know, I'm just saying, in my mind, when do you hit that critical spot?
Where's the break even?
Where's the break-in spot? I think that's what I'm looking for.
So it's $1.50 an hour, right? Times 4 hours a day,
Yes,
right?
on street.
That's $6 a day. And if you work
Even if you just did.
if you work 4 days.
Oh, yeah, sorry, we missed a step. You're right, John.
Yeah.
My math wasn't mathing this time.
I know, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, you're wrong.
Like,
We missed a step. We missed a
4
step.
days.
you.
Yeah, sorry.
Times 4 days.
So it's one, it's
It's
one,
$24 a week.
yeah. So to get the 30
Right.
bucks would be
It's like a
5
week and a
days.
half.
Okay, so,
So it's not bad.
So,
no,
You're basically buying one, you're getting 4 weeks.
for a week and a half.
For a week,
For a week,
that's a good
yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then what that means then, if we're pushing for more permits. Our revenue goes down a little bit because we're getting rid of the $1.50, oh, we'll still have the $1.50 people a lot. And when we're saying we have enough inventory. to Push some of those street parkers into the lots, 'cause that's what we really want to have happen, right? 'Cause it's better revenue, it's more
Yeah, for the long term.
for the long term.
On-street park. I mean, to me,
Oh, it's better.
I mean, 30, I mean, 32,
Yeah.
30, you know, whether it's 30, 32 or 35, it's still a good deal, yeah.
Well, especially since we just upped it to 150. Makes it even a
Yeah,
better
it
deal.
makes it even a better deal.
Makes it a
Right.
better deal.
Let's sell this.
I figured.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's gonna push people into the,
So if you bump that up to 35, that would be a 14.3% increase where we're.
It's engineering.
Increase.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I look at the big picture, so it's gonna push. Easier for some people to say, well, if I'm on the street parking, it's gonna cost me X market, but if I get into the lot and I'm an employee, which we want those people in the lots,
Yeah,
away from the street parking.
Well, so far, we only have identified for the 4-hour parking
Right.
on street. We don't.
These
have-
were those ones where we took out meters
Right.
out
Yeah.
on the outskirts and made them.
We haven't pushed anybody to push any of these employees into the lot yet.
Yeah. Cause if I'm an employee, I'm buying either one of these two, there's not really an employee. Is there an actual employee permit?
No, they're just a
No,
4-hour.
We're just saying we're doing 4 hours.
So you have to convince them somehow, cause they
Well, yeah,
park
well, you
right in
could-
front of where they work.
We could say you can park there, and if you park there for a week, it equals the same if you just buy a permit.
yeah.
Maybe for a week, we're gonna tow you.
I mean, now if they keep on money, if they put money, we don't care.
No, but it's like, you're not shopping.
You know
around
what
here.
happens to all these people, like they gripe about buying the permit, cause I know, cause there's these people. in my
You can do that online now, right?
So they don't buy the permit. And
They get
Take their.
So
one ticket, one
that's
ticket
what
pays for a
I
permit.
was gonna
That's
say.
our slogan, one
And,
ticket pays
and
for a
they
permit.
get like 2 tickets in a week and they're just outraged. And it's like, well,
Hey.
so I think it's definitely part of that. We've really gotta try hard
Well, I mean, that's
at education.
Well, that's what I think with the list. I mean, I think we got some really fun things like, you know, you hate parking. Well, here's an easy way to do it. Buy a permit. You know, your
You're
2
done.
tickets downtown is cheaper than a permit.
You're done. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get that permit. All right.
They
So
don't
I
walk the
think-
hill.
I think we ought to leave it at the 65.
Yeah.
32.
Yeah.
And, okay, so everything else remains the same that. we
You okay with that,
already
Chris? Since you've missed a lot of this, you okay with that increase?
The 50 cents?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
125 to 150
Yeah.
on the hourly pay as you go.
Okay, so can I get a motion?
Hang on, or you guys wanna talk about that reduced
Yes.
Yeah,
lot, then we have to add this into our fee schedule.
okay.
So, Chris,
Oh, I see what you're saying for the, yes.
you're telling me there's rules about how you picked out how many lots go into how many permits go into every lot. Is that what you're doing now? You're saying that we're adding, we
Yeah.
make it go through other.
Yeah,
So
so
do
we,
you have a percentage now that goes for each garage?
we started with. What was it, what am I?
Well, he was telling me
The
that-
number of spots that we said could be permits.
So it kind of, it varied, I think the one.
That's the word I want, varied, because he's like, no, that's all the same, and I think
Well,
it can
no,
vary.
because like Jackson's permit only,
Right,
15th is permit only. Medical Arts is permit only on the top, or it's leased out to the top and pay to park for the 25 spaces below. And then Getchell, it doesn't matter because it doesn't get used as much as it was projected. 6 was the only one that we had to try to keep some spaces for people, but as we found out that even if we take that away, there's still spaces for people to park.
okay.
So we generally, I think we started though at like, I want to say 60%.
Saying is if we're gonna have to wiggle some. If we find there's,
Right.
yeah, so let me ask you, so how many people buy permits in Getchell? And could you do a discount? To push a bunch of people into Getchell, and would that matter?
I think,
Getchell, we have
people work down
119
Oh, you got
permits.
119, yeah. I'm just saying, they're trying to push their employees into the garage.
So there's 400 or 200, see on this one, we have 277, 70% of the spaces for permits. And the rest is for public parking.
Okay.
So we have 427 total spaces. We've sold 180 permits.
I'm thinking if their goal is to try to get their employees out of their lot. Well, there you go, 2 parking tickets buys you a permit. For those almost, what's the cost to be in the Getchell garage? What's
It's the same 60,
So
65.
85
85.
right now. So I remember we bumped up all the garages from 85 to 100.
That's what I'm asking, I don't
so I'm wondering, have you incorporated that increase into
So
your
that-
budget?
I haven't yet. So
Okay.
right now, what's in that proposed column of the budget is just a $5 per month increase on permits.
Oh, okay, so that
It's
is.
$5, whatever the current rate is, I bumped them all $5. So we
Well,
would,
and
I
is
mean, on the garage ones, if we stuck with what we talked about before, going from 85 to 100.
Mhm.
And then, multi-lots 95 to 105, that, so if we stuck with that, I mean, the increase would be even more, but. My concern was when we took this to the commission last time we talked about it. They didn't sound real enthusiastic about these jumps.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Yeah.
only put in the proposal of $5 a month on permits.
The point of the fact
Right,
is,
yeah.
we're gonna have to drive home the fact. That you all,
Recommended.
as created by the commission for their advisory committee.
Right.
That whatever the rates that you guys end up approving, those are what this committee. That they asked you to be formed, are recommending because of the deferred maintenance, because of all these reasons that we're giving them. They may not like it, and we're all gonna get a lot of probably hate mail. But this is what we see as the best foot forward for everybody. But
And I think there's some new members since you took this the first time, right?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
just one.
So your
What
budget,
about, although, what about
Two.
two, the guy who
Commission.
used to work for the city?
Oh, yeah.
Tim.
New commissioner.
Yeah,
yeah.
Ben, yeah.
so you're.
Julie, we don't have to, Julie was, here, so she
Yeah, she
understands all that.
understands.
Right.
Okay, so when you're showing us the budget and we had 100,000 excess, now with 150,000 excess, it is based on only a $5 increase.
Correct.
Okay.
So really.
I'm a
so
little
we
more-
have- I can do, let's see, there's generally. About 1,300 active permits, like right now, so. Yeah, we went up. So the $5. The $5 increase on those permits was about 130,000. So even if we went up 10 on all permits. It would be, 250,000. But we know that we're not going 10 on it, right? So like the surface lots, we only went from 70 to 75, 60 to 65. But down here, we went 85 to 100, 95 to 105. So, a lot of them went up more than the 5, but some of them only went up 5. So really, I would say that if we went with the structure that we talked about already in the past. My guess would be that we're probably at 250 more in permits. And so that would be another, so we had 150 plus another 100, so we'd be at 280 to 300,000 in excess. With the $1.50 and these rates that were already talked about in the past. We'd probably be closer to 300,000 in excess. Instead of 100.
Now that we have different numbers, I'm a little concerned about bumping them more than $5. Just because what state fund pays, 300,000 a year?
70.
And
we,
There.
I mean, that sounds like an Alan
They
Nicholson
make.
HOA.
but we pay 170,000 of their bill that they're supposed to be paying.
And their executive director, whatever, makes 500.
So, yeah.
I'm just looking at.
Right now, we have $250,000,
Yeah.
roughly $250,000 that we're paying for subsidizing a parking garage and HOA.
Right, but okay, so what about taking someone like Seth, building owner, small businesses in your building?
Well,
Um,
the thing about,
what's the multi-lot? How many people use the multi-lot?
Not very many. Yeah.
so the thing about these rates, which I've kind of got lost in the $1.50, I thought we'd already built some rates in there, but we hadn't.
Either put it in as the pay as you go or the.
29.
Or we can do both, but right now,
Right now, we're talking about raising all the permits, but it depends.
it's budget.
Obviously, if you're already paying. If you're paying
Well, let's look at the get
for a cheaper permit, should you get the same rate across the board? You know what I'm saying? It should be a percentage of what your permit costs now.
Instead of just doing a blanket 5.
Right.
My feeling is that we might as well go for it this time.
So we're gonna have this deficit and also we're gonna have $350,000.
Well, that's what we're saying, we're
Good thing
trying
you live
to
in the
take
district.
care
Please
of.
don't come by everyone.
But let me put
Yeah.
something in perspective right now. So a corner, just doing a street corner with
Yeah.
ADA ramps. What was the last one we did? It was 85 and $16,000 just to do 2 ADA ramps.
Yeah.
So $100,000 doesn't go.
Well, I mean, are we jeopardizing anybody? I mean, would state fund pull out? Would
State fund
We
can't.
gotta go.
They can't go anywhere.
They have to pay whatever.
Okay,
their-
what about, I wanna say mimosa people, people in the power block. The big employer in the power block, who has 30 permits, pays like 17,000 a year.
Work Moses.
Work Moses,
Oh.
you know, are we gonna push them or they don't care? I mean, I'm just looking at,
So I always look at this a little differently because, and Seth can correct me and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you buy these permits for your employees, the business can write that expense off in their taxes.
yeah, not really. Not for me. I mean, it's just an expense.
But it is a benefit that you offer your employees.
It is a
if you
benefit,
help
yeah,
pay
sure.
for their parking,
And so I'm just thinking,
instead of,
you know, do we outprice our main, you know, like, who else pays a lot of money in permits?
Department of
There's a
Corrections.
few out there,
The state.
facilities. Pay.
You know, the state seems to be pretty
The state
fickle,
pays,
how they move around.
yeah, but you know, Department of Corrections, Department of Revenue, like,
They move around for rent. They don't ever worry about.
They don't, okay, that's what I wanna know.
Now, you know how small the medical arts parking lot is?
Yeah.
Okay. So we didn't do anything in 2025 or 2026, right? Didn't do anything.
any maintenance.
Any maintenance. So the suggested amount that the consultant came up with is $278,000. So that's already on one structure, the smallest structure. $278,000 that hasn't been spent on maintenance that was recommended for the last 2.
Landscaping for those dark years.
Yeah.
How much is
Well,
that parking? Permits for that?
For medical art,
Mm-hmm.
so we have, that's a lease.
It
Yeah,
probably goes with that building, right?
well, no,
No?
it's a lease that Nicholson negotiated.
I'll put that on my list. I'll put that on my list.
yeah.
He's still
I'm not-
Nicholson is killing downtown.
Well, he also made downtown, as well as hard.
I can't remember how much it is, but it's.
No,
not-
he's been good for downtown.
So. So they don't pay per, that's a negotiated,
It's a lease rate that
Lease.
that they negotiate.
That we pay them or they pay us
They pay us for
Okay.
exclusive use of the top deck.
on the top deck.
But the bottom is open to public.
We own both of them in theory, except for that.
so is there a way to?
We have to maintain
renegotiate
that.
Or,
We have to
He's
make
not
that
interested, I can tell you that.
I know, he's,
But that
That's
agreement.
what we go to. Give us the HOA, we'll let you keep medical arts.
I can't remember, that lease expires coming up, I don't remember when, but I mean, there's always, the city could just not.
so you can bet the tenants pay him for that.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I go to the
that,
dentist. They get.
When we raise this, let us know if your bill goes up.
Really, it goes up. every
So
time I go.
if it was me, I would say we need to keep the multi-lot. There's only 29 people buying them,
And what does that mean? Use parking anywhere you want?
any in the lots.
Okay,
I don't think a 95 to 105 is anything.
no,
I think the biggest one this one is for discussion.
that's since the garage is empty.
that's the most popular lot though, right? That's.
Oh, no, that's everybody.
That's everybody.
That's all.
Oh,
the
that's
garages.
everybody.
all the
Oh, that's all lots.
All the
Yeah,
garage.
yeah,
all
okay,
right.
yes.
Oh, okay.
So the
That's
thought
gonna hit
behind
the
that
most.
was when Julia was here was, you know, pushing. If you want a premium to park undercover or park in the lots, then you pay the premium. Otherwise, you could potentially go to fill up one of the lots that are close.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like that. I think that's fine.
I'm a little worried about 100.
Well, I mean, but think about what they're buying. They have opportunity to just go to one lot.
Although this is, you get, this was, I'm okay with the multi-lot being 105.
Okay.
I'm looking at the regular, you know, I have 6 employees and I've just now gone from 85 to 100. So that's 15 times 6, more money a month.
$90 a month.
$90 more a month out of my pocket so my employees can stay dry.
So
That's
95,
kind of, that's where the joint, that's where the most people are in that.
95 is a 10%. Basically.
I think, yeah, I think that'd be the most you could do
Yeah, and when was the last time it was increased?
last year.
Couple years ago.
Couple years ago.
We didn't do last year because
Because
we were
in
in
that
a
discussion.
discussion.
Get our,
Okay. I don't think things have been increased for 3 years. This would be the 3rd year.
So
If
that
we
was
did do it.
better, so that's really only about inflation. I mean, if you take 3
Yeah,
years.
typically, they were doing it either every year, or every other year, they were doing $5 increase. When,
So I'm looking at, so I'm looking, if it was $60 a month. So 30, if it as is, as an employee of 6, that'd be. For 85 would be, if it went 90, it would be $30 more a month. And then 60 and then 90. So Seth, could you pay $90 more for your tenants in the back? If you had 6 tenants that you were paying for their parking, and I came to you and said, you were paying 85, but now I'm gonna charge you 105, it's gonna cost you $90 more a month. What would you think of that?
For 6 parking spaces?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just-
I think that's reasonable.
For your employees, or however you want to use it. I'm just trying to think, where's our, because the other thing we have in the middle of this, we have the Lasso, the Moons, and the younger, and the littler businesses saying. It's getting tight.
so
Did
here's
they
the
pay for
point,
their-
they could go park in a parking. lot.
Yeah.
If they want, they don't have to park in the garages, they can go to a lot.
Yeah, there are
and do
options.
they pay for their employees?
No, not everyone, I don't know what the other one does. I think there's a fine line, I think, in that middle person business right now where. Like Birds and Beasley's is, you know, a lot, bird feeders are made overseas, so there's unknown tariffs at the point of coming back. There's the idea of parking increasing, there's the idea of no snow or whatever. So those guys are getting a little worried when you hear people say, well, I'm not going out to dinner 4 times a week, I'm going out 2 times a week. So I think that middle group in there is nervous.
I think they're nervous about it.
Yeah.
I make up for them, don't worry.
So are we good, or so 95? 8?
I'm good with, wait,
You're 5. Wait a minute, let's see.
Well, that's a
No, no.
premium. That's
85
for
and
people that.
Yeah, no, I was. Dave's head was in the way of my
And then-
C column, I couldn't tell what garage was.
Is 35 for the reduced low income?
That's a good deal.
Yeah, that is a good deal. How many of them, well, but we're gonna have to decide how many of those.
I don't think you decide, I think you can't say that, you can say how many are in the garage, but
Well, why not? Why can't you? I mean,
They're not gonna, so this would be surface lots that they'd be parking at.
still, I think you,
If they're gonna park in the garage, they would have to
Well,
pay
yeah.
something like $50 a month.
well, I don't think do we give garage, I don't think we give garage
No.
at this point, we see how this flies.
but I think you limit it. I mean, I just. think
Yeah.
We can't have, I mean,
there aren't that many.
I think hardly anybody's gonna apply for these things, but I don't know.
I think there might be, I think if we educate the business owners to say, hey, do you have a dishwasher that comes down? Like, example would be Benny's, my stepkid works for
Sure.
Benny's, so she goes down, sometimes she parks on the street, then she parks in the lot, sometimes she uses the meter. But she goes down for like an hour or 2, and if you could just for.
But yet, a block away, there's free parking.
Mhm.
That's,
Yeah,
there's 507 free 2 hours, some type of free parking down.
right, but it's not
Yeah.
free for the day, it's just 2 hours.
But
Right,
she's-
but you get breaks during your 4-hour shift that you could go move your car just like they used to.
Yeah.
Do another free 2 hour and you're not spending any money on it.
Chamber, those
Yeah.
lots facing.
Right,
West
tell
of the
them to park
chamber.
there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking how people are gonna use it, but I'm thinking of the business owner, you say to the business owner, hey, either buy them a permit, if they're low income, they're a dishwasher. And they can prove that they're on Section 8 housing. Get them a full month permit
Yeah,
and keep them there as long as you want, don't have them going in and out of the building.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know,
fine.
but you may wanna limit the
Well, it'll be naturally limited when
The
we say
spaces, there are only so many. spaces.
only, 5%
That's what I'm talking
of
about.
slots are
Right.
gonna be available.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I,
no,
In
yeah,
most
sorry.
lots, that's only gonna be 2.
and that's what I think needs to be said, is that this is, yeah.
Well, and what's nice is we're just saying all lots, so we're not pushing them into one lot, so I mean, I'm just trying to think of psychologically when people are, the business people are complaining about parking. You know, like, well, got a lot, buy them.
Mhm.
And we opened it, you don't have to live
I mean, they
downtown.
pick and choose when they wanna be open.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's like.
Well, that's
Okay.
okay.
So those are the only,
choose
so
from the Parking lot.
can I take out these notes then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so how much money we got at the end of the day here?
So I mean, we have a lot of garage permits. So I mean, going instead of 5, we're doing 10. I think we have
Can we
like 8.
play with your spreadsheet?
We can, yeah, not permit by permit.
I can just start overwriting some.
We used to be able
Say that.
You can thank finance for getting rid of our number of revenue accounts, because we used to be able to play with it exactly by location.
Yeah.
When we swapped over, they just said, no, you just need one revenue account for permits. Like,
Well,
well, thanks for nothing, but
yeah, exactly.
so
Is it in here or the proposed?
on the proposed deed.
So I think what we're telling the commissioners are, we know things have to be done, but we know it's gonna be painful, we're instead of nickel and diamond for the next 3 years,
Keep
we're
going.
going for the.
Well,
We want to write it, we have to correct it.
Well, we might be back next year with
Right.
another increase.
It's the one that says 1.5.
Right, I'm not saying we're not doing it, because what we're saying is, if
Things.
we don't take care of these garages, we're gonna be spending a hell of a lot
Line
more money.
291, looks like.
And it's also,
And
That's
that's,
column
it's also the
AB.
responsibility of.
Oh,
AE, yeah, that's
It's the
right there.
responsibility of
So-
keep raising rates. If you don't do that, you wind up in this situation.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
it's the same as they wanna be the employer of choice. You can't be the employer of choice by not doing COLAs for 7 years in a row like they did in
Yeah.
the past.
Yeah.
And that's where we were at a couple of years ago, and now we're back stable. Still on the low side, but we're stable. And that's only because the city is invested in their employees. The only way parking can be stable is if the users invest in the facilities that they're parking.
Yeah, as hard as it is.
So
And
complain if there's.
like I said, we've offered lots of free parking, we've made things easier, there's like 430 spots out there that are
Yeah.
free. And I think the whole thing is you pick the spot that works for you.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're giving you an a la carte.
Right.
Make
and-
that one
and you're gonna
1,550,000.
pick.
Well, yeah, I think the reality of the situation.
And then the one that's 480, one more 0. And the one that's 480,000, make that one, like, let's say 525. And that's all. I already did the ticket version. So, yeah, scroll. So now we're at 200,000. So going up the $5 on the other permits.
Took us
going up to
$150.
$10 on the garage permits.
Brought us up to only 50.
Well, it brought us up 190, almost 100, because I also added the extra quarter
Okay.
to the $150. So we were at 107, now we're 197. So
We'll revise these to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I'll do the actual math.
Why does parking have to pay for sidewalks?
well, it's Jason's property.
Oh. Check.
You know,
That'd
there's
be a
a-
good general.
There's an easy way to get the sidewalks fixed in this town, and that is you just walk around and every time you see a problem with the sidewalk, you write the city. And then the city has said they will fix it or charge the property owner.
Or you do it like I did.
Or you
say,
get a
my-
sidewalk district passed and we go out and start this.
But I'm not, it just doesn't cost us anything to charge the city to fix their own sidewalks.
Then they're gonna pass on to the property owner.
No, they, no, but
Yeah, it
it's
does,
their property.
it goes on.
I know, but or you do it my way, which is, one of us needed a sidewalk at my house, I needed a part of the sidewalk. And so I was talking, God, his name is Alan. I said, well, how many feet will it take for a truck? He said, you get me 4 of the property owners, and I'm like, okay, so we found, so they could just do the whole corner, so we did B&B Market. All I wanted to curb cut when I had the laundromat and the bakery, and then my house, we just threw them all in, and he was like thrilled because he could come in.
Yeah, we do the whole thing.
And it was cheaper, and then they had that free interest. And paying it off, and it was slick.
Okay,
Okay, so
All right,
that,
so
so
we're
that
ready.
gives you guys $200,000 to play with.
Yeah, so I guess part of really what the recommendation I think I would hear is that you want me to reinsert that 197 into essentially the capital so that we can say that that's money we have for projects, however we go about whatever avenue we use, whether we get TIF or grants or whatever the avenue is that we can pursue, you want that available in the budget to use for the projects.
Yeah.
Because we're raising
That gives
rates,
us the most flexibility, right?
we're raising rates to address the deferred maintenance.
Yeah.
But it's not just parking garages, it's.
No, I mean, what we need,
Maintenance everywhere, yeah.
so what we need to make sure is what, and do we get any input on what you spend the money on? As this group?
You could,
Well, I'm just wondering, because I mean, what I would like to see is the garages, the things that need to be taken care of that sometimes are invisible. But I think the kiosks are hard to find. Missoula's got that little thing that says pay here. That they stuck on their kiosk. So when you look down a row, like I was trying to find out Jackson Street, and I couldn't find the kiosks. And then I watched one guy trying to, and it just because they're low with the cars. So I think just a few things we could do that, some landscaping, maybe something so that people can see that there's something happening. We're taking care of our deferred maintenance, but who sees that the garage is covered? And what picking some projects that are noticeables, I guess, and in different district parts. So it's not just all on the Park Avenue block. It's not all just on. I'm just thinking of PR. If we're saying, hey, we're trying to make this a better downtown. So when you pick your projects, spread them out so it's not, oh, this property owner always gets what he wants. Or I don't know, that's just my thought, is that we need something.
but you could caveat your recommendation on the rates and say, we're only gonna support these rate increases if you cut us off 20 grand for these types of projects.
No, I just wanna say, as you're doing stuff, I don't wanna tie anybody's hand.
Well, we can,
Come
what
on,
we can do,
big.
we can get some costs on, pay here signs or whatever.
I mean, just like when you drive through the garages, it says pay at the kiosk. And like on the one in Getchell, it's like on every wall, but there's no arrow. I have no idea where the kiosk is. And so you go to, and then when you get to the kiosk, it says, but pay here, well, register your plate here. So you actually say, look for the kiosk, and then the word is pay, well, register your plate here. And so they're different languages.
Well, I think,
But we have to change those sites anyway, because we're having pretty.
I think we'll,
I just wanna make sure, so that if we're gonna do this, and people are pitching and moaning and stuff, that we as a committee and the commissioners can say, yeah, we heard you, we're working on this part of deferred. We're trying to make sure that property owners who've like been there forever get some.
I think I think the key is life and safety.
Yeah,
And then in deferred maintenance, the priority items, priority deferred maintenance, because there's not near enough money to cover this. I mean, that's like one garage.
right.
But then the other thing is, I think, we get a monthly update from you guys and,
Yeah.
if you guys, buy the whatever at the parking garage and next year we'll be back here at the table.
I mean, before
Yeah.
our next meeting. Basically, we're gonna take this information and we're gonna go tomorrow and present it to the manager. And if she signs off on the rate increase and says, yes, I'm okay with that, you can present this to the commission. Then at that point, we will actually start to prioritize the actual projects into that what's gonna be, $300,000 worth of capital. So we'll come up with the priority list of projects that we're gonna spend that 300 on. Based on how much of it can our maintenance guys do themselves, how much are we gonna need someone to come in and do something for us? We'll push for an answer on some of the TIF stuff to see about the match, so. In the next month, we'll be able to actually come up with a list of projects and not just say, we're gonna spend 300 grand on capital. We have no idea what.
Yeah,
Then when we come
it's a
back,
balance.
Because by the time we get to presenting to the commission, they're gonna wanna know specifically what the projects are too. They're not, I can just tell you from experience, they're not gonna be like, yeah, 300 grand in capital on something, sure.
and that's also, we can have two scenarios where we identify projects. But also put in there that, we could use this as match for TIF money to double our effective.
Yeah, to double it, and then maybe what you do then to the tip money is then you say to the property owners, we're having a sidewalk issue. So we're gonna take our chunk of money and put it towards sidewalks. Where are the worst sidewalks connections right now in the downtown area? And you go to that property owner and say, we got it, if you match us, we'll give you half the money for, or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden, you have newer sidewalks throughout the district.
Well,
Or somewhere, and again, so we know we're gonna have to hold the
So
property owner.
parking funds has to be used to park.
yeah, but the thing is that there's plenty of bad sidewalks
Right,
along our park.
right, okay.
There's the,
Well, then the,
You know,
the
the
the public will like that then.
yeah, there's the transitions where you drive into a parking lot.
Mhm.
And if you look at those, there's too much cross slope. They don't need access for ADA. And they're all pitted and those kind of things need to be destroyed.
The one on 6 would be. In order to get that, without going back into the garage, I think the easiest thing is to. Basically, bulb out the curb there at the entrance, so you can lengthen out that.
At 6th Street, you said.
Yeah, 6, and then make your 2% cross slope for the sidewalk across there. And then you use that bulb out portion for your ramp, and then you have a nice entrance into the
Yeah.
garage.
Which is gonna be expensive. And then on
I was saying-
Crooms,
I was saying,
that one's too, or
As a
on
property owner.
Jackson.
if I would have heard as a property owner how much the on Broadway building got, I'd be pissed.
Oh, I still am.
Right, so.
So are you.
And I don't even own property down there, but I mean, but it wouldn't it be nice to go back to the TIF people, to the BID people and say, we're taking this and spreading it out.
Well, it
So that
will,
there's, yeah,
but they disbanded that group.
the BID,
No, the TIF board.
oh. Who's gonna,
Now they've got a new group. They rewrote the law so that it's advisory instead of
who's we?
the city.
Interesting.
So
But
there
I-
used to be a separate board
Yeah.
for each TIF
TIF.
district.
Yes,
Right.
Now there's one board for all the districts.
With representation of all 3 on that
Yeah.
board.
But I'll be honest with you, there were issues with that board, I think, that created. The TIF is,
It's on, you said on the way out.
it's a tricky situation.
Well,
It's
just
a
the fact,
weird-
yeah, I mean, it's like spread it around, I mean, don't
Yeah, I
nickel
agree.
and dime or you don't get anything done, but
Yeah,
that much money for.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to take a vote on this. So let's get a motion to recommend the fee structure as proposed.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Joan?
Joan moves, Christopher seconds.
Second.
I'm gonna say, yes. And look how we get to
Is
move.
there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Don't want to support budget. So you're saying,
And not for this time.
do we have, well, we can talk about it, or we already,
Uh,
I guess
well,
when we were having this conversation, I wish we could have known it.
I was I'm teetering, I just don't know how we're gonna dig ourselves out of $10 million in deferred maintenance. If the pot of money we're looking at is just ratepayers. I think this is a bigger question for the city to look down, I guess, on, you know, past management or mismanagement, whatever you call it, or misappropriation or why we weren't investing in this the last 20 years. I think it's a hard, I mean, you heard the people that were in this room last year. It was a, you know, a very hard thing to listen to, and I just don't know, you know, where we're gonna come up with $10 million. That's the dollar amount that we're being told. So,
Well, it's not. It's 10 million just specific to the parking structures over 10 years. The problem is, yes, bulk of the money is spent initially because those are the items that they identify as needing maintenance. And the other issue is if you don't spend the money now, the cost goes up. But of course, Dave and Chris are gonna identify the issues that are gonna cost more that need to be addressed immediately to avoid the cost going up as quickly for repairs.
So you're thinking the budget needs to be more, they need to,
I mean, I don't know. All I'm saying, looking is at the top dollars, you know, we're saying, what I heard 5-7 million potentially just to even get us over that critical deficiency. Well, I don't know where we're gonna find that if we're talking about 50 cents.
So just to, so not only does the 300 roughly thousand that what we have here give us an opportunity to match with TIP, which is 50-50, which is one of the, you know, if you look at grants, one of the worst matching grants. There are grants out there that, you know, are 85-15, where the, you know, the grant picks up 85. So now that we know that we have a bigger pot of money to basically use, make that dollar go farther, we can go start going and looking and see what other grants are out there that might give us a more bang for our buck. Might be that 80-20, it might be that 85-15, to where we can leverage, you know, 300,000 for another, you know, 600,000 to 900,000 and get a $1.2 million grant put in place, and we can knock off some of those big dollar items off the bat, and then take that money. We'd still have debt service, obviously.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, with the grant we wouldn't, but there's also loans out there that you can go, you know, intercap loans. But before, we were looking at, you know, at most maybe having $100,000 to throw at this, which doesn't do us a whole lot of good in any of the grant scenarios.
Well, okay,
you wanna keep processing, I mean, we know that you're concerned,
Yeah.
don't keep using A,
Yes. keep me-
I think we have to revote though, because
we discussed.
I think to second it,
Yeah, you can't second, I'm sorry.
so we're gonna have to do
I
this
told you,
over.
sorry, yes, one, three.
Okay, so we're
Go
gonna
figure,
we pushed him into
that's
that.
why I'm not the chairperson, remember that,
So here we go. We're gonna accept,
Joe's motion.
we're gonna vote, we're gonna need a motion to accept the proposed fees as presented.
I make that motion
I'll
to
second it.
accept the
Sandy seconds.
I'll second.
fees as proposed.
Okay, we're gonna take a vote. Or any further discussion? Okay, gotta stay with the rules here.
I guess I would just say we have to start somewhere to start digging our way out of this. And to at least being a little proactive instead of sitting around and whining because we don't have enough money. And it doesn't say the commission's gonna support it or vote for it either, but I think it's important that we take a stance and relay that to them. And we have to start somewhere. So that's my justification. Okay,
all in favor?
No, you gotta do it one at a time because that's
Okay,
what we should technically do.
okay,
Oh, yeah, that's this way or whatever. I vote aye.
Joan,
Aye.
Chris.
Names.
You guys don't do it. And what do you vote?
I vote. Hey, aye.
Today. Today.
Aye.
I vote
What do you-
aye.
He's voting Canadian.
Okay, so that. So that's our quorum, it does pass.
Okay, so this is what we'll present once we get there, but we'll take this to the city manager. He has an idea what was discussed.
Yeah, and let us know what the city manager says.
And what other support do you need from us? Before you go there?
Nothing for tomorrow.
Yeah, nothing for tomorrow. Once we figure out when the commission presentation is, we'll, hope to have somebody or whoever show up to that meeting in case they, want to make sure we're not lying to you guys.
Yeah, and I can show up the commission meeting and, cause we're gonna have to do a presentation anyway for the end of the year, and we'll get our, maybe you will get together and get these priorities sent.
I took some notes too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So,
Will you send the video in sooner than later so I can help with the minutes and get them done?
Yeah, they were,
I know it might not be this whole month, it might be
yeah,
that.
I'll put them in the other folder.
Um,
Okay, so
And-
I need this thing.
So you're meeting with the city manager tomorrow, both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question to ask her is, who should my buddy be to go talk to Eldon?
I'll just tell her that Sandy wants.
So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go just go talk, knock on her door. and
Oh,
get
I'll
an
just tell her,
appointment.
we'll just talk to her, say, hey, we have these couple issues. And, Sandy, one of the committee members wanted to approach, Alan Nicholson about this. He's been a big part of the community for a lot of years. It'll probably be a good chance for you to go with him. And we can put you in contact with Sandy to kind of talk before you guys have a meeting with Alan and go from there.
he's
He was-
surprisingly easy to talk.
He would like it if the.
He would love it, if city manager would
manager,
come, that would hit it,
And,
yeah,
one of her first visits, maybe.
Yeah, so- yeah, I just need to talk to her before we, so. See my phone number, not their email. Yeah, because I don't do emails so well. The other question for Jackson Street Garage. When you come in off the alley there, it's the south entrance. There's a little white sign there that says for cards only. And then there's the little key, the little old card machine. Do they still use that? So anyway, it's got power running to it. It's got,
It's. Both of them are young.
yeah, it was really
We have to
confusing.
take all of those out already.
Yeah, because the other ones are gone.
Yeah.
But,
I
yeah,
don't know, if maybe they just forgot that one is there at Jackson, so we'll bring it up tomorrow.
yeah, that, and then I've also said, it says notice parking on level 2, which I have no idea what level 2 is because there's no signage there. This garage is only for monthly card holders.
Yeah,
That's,
come down.
Yeah, signs. It was just a little confusing.
You guys will take.
Looks like we missed a couple signs.
I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot out there. I mean, I had to go up Jackson Street 3 times to get down. I have to look for that.
Okay, well, I think we've gone over the annual report recommendations. And that's our priorities for next year. I think it's just, we're gonna take what, Julie did. And I kind of go over where we're at, where we hope to go. We'll know
Are you
that.
interested in being our chairperson?
Yeah.
You did pretty good at
There, he said yes. All those in favor?
Aye. It's done.
We have to do it.
We have to do an honest vote. You
Wasn't
wanna do an
agenda.
honest vote?
Wasn't
It's
agenda.
not on the
Should we
agenda.
put it on the agenda?
We'll put it on the
Put it
agenda.
on the agenda.
Yeah,
If you're willing, that would be wonderful, Seth.
Yes, thank you.
all right. I will run for office next week, next month.
You tell them your stickers ready to run against you.
All
Unless they're-
right.
are
I'm
you
not worried
interested?
about that.
Okay.
My term expires this. I'm a, this, public member is a 2-year.
Yeah, I think they're all 2-year.
Is it? No, I think you guys are 3-year.
We're at 27, that's what
Yeah.
it says.
You guys are 3 years.
I'm at,
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is.
They know.
I'm on
You
that.
get run out of town.
August 1st, 27, that's what mine says.
Yeah.
I thought mine was 26. I thought it was
So, is there anything else?
Mark up another day, No, I think,
Okay.
upcoming meeting items. Is there anything?
Well, the standing orders, we have the map of the standing, we have the.
Yeah, the code revisions.
The code revisions, yeah.
When you put Nicholson on there as an item to really talk
Report.
about him.
That'd just be.
That'd just be a
Okay.
update or now.
Yeah.
So when do you take the residential
Well, we should get some.
parking district requests to bed?
April 15th.
The 15th will be the admin meeting. That's our like, here's a heads up, we're bringing this to you.
Oh,
And 19th or the 20th will be,
The 20th would be the first resolution or whatever.
All right, I get a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Okay,
I'll say.
Christopher, Joan, all in favor? Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you for all the work you do.